Comparison is the thief of joy. And so in this video, I want to talk about how comparison warps our reality, it breeds insecurity and burnout, and how intentional living is the best antidote for this problem. And so for a quick introduction, hello, my name is Cooper. If you are new here, I'm a recent college graduate documenting my journey as well as giving advice to you all on this YouTube channel. And so if that is something you are interested in, feel free to stick around. All right, let's get into point number one, how comparison warps our reality. And so I think the best example of this is social media. So we all use social media. My favorite is Instagram. And so they all have this in common. But the trouble with social media is that it turns into a natural comparison where we compare our behind the scenes real everyday lives to someone else's highlight reel. And so when you go onto social media and you click post, you're choosing to post specific highlights of your life. And so inevitably your Instagram or your Snapchat story, whatever your social media of choice is, it becomes your life's highlight reel. And so when we start comparing ourselves to our friends or peers on social media, we are comparing our everyday life, which encompasses all the good and bad, to somebody else's highlight reel, which usually is just all their good. And so in no world is that a fair or accurate comparison. And so the next kind of point is how comparing different journeys is delusional, especially since they're not the same. Our journeys are not the same. We are different people. You know, everyone's at a different point in their lives, different ages, different backgrounds from a different place, you know, different job. And so there are all these factors. And so it is never healthy, fair, or accurate to justly compare yourself and your journey to somebody else's. And the last point about this is how comparison ultimately blinds us to our own growth. And so when we're looking at other people and where they're at, and we're saying, why am I not there? You know, we start overlooking where we're at right now, where we came from. You know, like I played basketball in high school. And so I would look at my peers and they started making, you know, like varsity, or, you know, you can look at, you know, best player in the world, Michael Jordan, right? He doesn't make his high school varsity team, I think, his sophomore year. And then the very next year, he does. And I would look at that and be like, okay, I'm chilling. I'm still a freshman or sophomore. I got a couple years. And then junior year would come, and I was like, well, why am I not on varsity? Michael Jordan did it. He went from, you know, A to B like that. Why am I not there? When you completely forget that it's two different universes, it's two different scenarios, two different people with two different backgrounds. But more importantly, I overlooked where I came from, the hurdles I jumped over, and how far I truly came in my journey just to get on the basketball team in high school. You know, I looked over all the hours of work that I put in, all the time and effort. I completely overlooked that because of a foolish comparison to somebody, let alone the greatest of all time. Hot take, but Michael Jordan, all the way. And so that is never fair. And so kind of bringing into my next point, this comparison ultimately breeds insecurity and burnout. And so kind of going back to the social media point, you know, all social media really is it is literally a highlight reel, as I pointed out. You know, you think of sports, right? You know, you finish a first half or the closing of the game, you know, you see on Instagram or whatever, you know, it's highlights. Sports is all about highlights. It's all about entertainment value. It's all about performance. And so social media does the same thing. It turns our lives into a highlight reel, into an entertainment factor, into a performance. And so what that ultimately does is, if we're comparing ourselves to other people on this performance platform, we turn our own lives into a performance. We start performing instead of living. An additional symptom that this can create is something called imposter syndrome. And so what imposter syndrome is feeling like you do not belong. Feeling that even though you made something, it was not yours to earn. It is not yours to have. And so a personal example for me is, along with basketball, I did band. And so that took me all the way to my past 4 years where I did drum corps. And so if any of you don't know what drum corps is, it's basically the major league of marching band, basically professional marching band, where we tour around the country, we compete. So I did that for the past 4 summers. And this last summer, I was with the most awarded, decorated corps in world history, and that is the Blue Devils. And so when I first made the Blue Devils a year ago, last winter, two winters ago, I guess, when I first made them, I felt this severe sense of imposter syndrome, where despite all the work I had put in to make this group, I still felt like I did not belong. And that was because of my comparison, what I was doing, how I was comparing myself to others. You know, comparing where I'm at to where other people are at. My fear of not being enough, not doing enough. And that led to imposter syndrome, feeling like I didn't actually have it. I did not deserve it. When clearly I did, because I made it, right? And so I feel like we all do this all the time, and it can lead to those symptoms. And last little bit on this insecurity and burnout is, like I just said, comparison is the fastest lane to burnout. And so kind of giving another example is this YouTube channel, what I'm doing right now. You know, as I am growing on YouTube, I'm going into month 3, right? Which is crazy to believe that I've already done 2 months. And so I've already done my research, you know, where do other people end up after their first 2 months? And there are plenty of stories out there that, you know, if you see them, and it's because they have a lot of views because of their success stories, right? You see plenty of success stories. 2 months on YouTube, already have 1,000 subscribers or more, you know, right? And so you automatically start comparing. Where am I at? Nowhere close to that. I got 5. Cool. 5 is better than 0. You know, this will go to my next point, where you have to start defining success on your own terms. And so the perfect antidote for this problem is intentional living. So start defining success on your own terms. Be intentional about you. So going back to my YouTube, yes, there are countless examples of people, you know, hitting major milestones super fast. That's not everybody. That's not me. That's not where I'm at right now. I'm someone different. I'm me. And so another point is that comparison cannot survive with daily gratitude and reflection. And so for me on this YouTube channel, I can compare all I want, but at the end of the day, that's not going to get me anywhere. What is going to get me somewhere is by waking up every single morning, reflecting on the previous day, the previous week, the previous month, the previous year, and starting to be grateful for what I have and intentional about where I can be. And in that kind of environment, comparison cannot thrive. And so I encourage you, if you're having these feelings, try that. You know, start to journal. Start to just think. Start to reflect on your past. Reflect on just tomorrow. Every morning you wake up, reflect on yesterday. How'd it go? How can you be better today? How can you be a better person? And you'll find that comparison start to zip away. And my last little point here is to run your race. Because like I was saying, this is your life. This is your race. And you need to run it. Don't look for somebody else to run it. You need to run it. So I want to leave you guys with a couple of last quotes here. So going back to the run your race. Peace came when I stopped looking around and started looking inward and then forward. Peace came when I stopped looking around at other YouTube channels and comparing myself and started looking inward where I'm at, where I've been, and looking for developing a plan tailored to me and my success. And last little thing, just to leave you guys, is that joy isn't found in beating somebody else. It's found in becoming who you were meant to be. And that's all I have for you guys. Hopefully you guys found some value in this video. If you did, feel free to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, all this stuff. So if you liked this video, You can stick around on this channel where I post new videos every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. If I don't see you guys in the near future, see you guys next time. Hope you guys have a good one. Godspeed.